actually think this is the worst boss. I actually think this is the worst boss. Mostly just because he puts a lot of hitboxes to prevent you from doing things. I'm trying to do the bosses with no items. Trying to do the bosses with like minimum A rank, just to get practice in, but some of them I'm probably just not going to care. I really don't like this boss. The other bosses I've figured out pretty good strats for them, like using minimal items, you know, just honest boss fights, but some of them I just don't care. I only got a couple left. I was doing normal, like, minimum item use, unless the boss is, like, almost dead, because I do want to finish it this stream. This boss I kind of don't like either. Yeah, I'm playing on hard right now, on the campaign. But I took a break to do this because, I gotta find all the secrets. And that's kinda not fun to watch because I have to follow a guide. Why did that not hit him? Oh, bullshit there. I should have hit him. No reason why I didn't hit him. Standing right in front of him. I don't know how much patience I have for this boss. This game needs less monster bosses and more human bosses. It's a shame there's only 3 human bosses. We need a lot more. They're the best fights in the game. I just get tired of fighting big monsters. I want to fight something that actually staggers, you know, juggles and stuff, and is more human. The camera in this game really screws you over sometimes with how big they are. That's why I don't know why they don't make, like, more just guys with swords. Always consistently the best boss fights in these games, and they don't give you any. Yeah, the grab is really annoying. I don't like this boss either. Why can't they just make more guys with swords? Those are the best boss fights. They're, like, afraid to do it. They're the fights that everybody does over and over. Fights like this I only want to do, like, once. Grab is so obnoxious. They make it look like you can mash out of it, but of course you can't. You're stuck in a 10-second long animation. You can't get out of it. Just don't like these big monsters. More normal human enemies fight. It's Kingdom Hearts 3 all over again. This was the problem with Kingdom Hearts 3. They made the combat a lot better in some ways, but then there's like no human bosses at all, unless you buy the DLC. Like, none. It's just big monsters constantly. Look at this camera. You gotta make the monsters so fat and big, then, you know, the camera should be able to, you know, have the whole body on the screen. You get cornered, you can't see anything. Like, yeah, just make more Guys with swords. That's what everybody wants anyway. If they don't even fit on the screen, then maybe there's a problem. I haven't really had any problems with the camera in this game. It's big bosses, sometimes you can barely see yourself. Alright, that's bullshit. How did that not hit him? I'm like standing right in front of him. What is his hurt box? Like, you saw that, right? Like, I slashed right in front of him. Somehow it doesn't hit him. Just want a guy with a sword, man. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. They give you a guy with a sword at the beginning. Cock tease. They know how to catfish their audience. First boss is awesome. Really teaches you how to play the game. It's a guy with a sword. Like, top tier. And then there's... game also has bosses like this. It's just like... not bad at all, just not fun in comparison. Irritating boss. Well, that's because the best bosses in character action games are always humanoid characters. Not necessarily guy with sword. That's overgeneralizing things a little bit. But human ones that follow the same rules you do are consistently always the best bosses. This game's definitely got a bit of Kingdom Hearts 3 syndrome, though. Where, like, the human bosses are really front-loaded and back-loaded, and there's none in the rest of the game. There's, like, pretty much 3 right at the end, and then 1 at the beginning, and that's it. The rest is big monsters. Maybe they could have, like, maybe just spread them out a little bit better. Like, leave the bosses the way they are, but then, like, put them in different places. I think that would have helped quite a bit, because I played this game blind, well, mostly blind. I watched some of the people that got it early. It's kind of weird to have, like, 3 of them, like, pretty much right at the end. There's, like, none in the middle. I don't know, they don't really have a human, like, rival in this game, really. I guess that's part of the problem. There's the guy that turns into Achilles, but he's barely a character. He just kind of decides, I want to turn into the dragon now. Like, why? He just kind of does it. He just bored or something. It's like a nothing character. Not like I play these games for the story, but kind of weird how it's like you're supposed to care if this guy turns evil, and like he doesn't interact with Yakumo like at all. He talks on the comms. That's it. He's just, I just want to be evil now. Like, he didn't really have a good intention for it. It's just kind of bored of being good, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. You know what's weird about that light side? The fact that Gundam Breaker 4 outsold, like, all the other games combined, and they did one season pass that had barely anything in it, and they haven't done anything since, but then, like, Xenoverse keeps getting stuff. Now, it's not bad that Xenoverse is still getting stuff. That's, like, probably the best single-player Dragon Ball game there is right now. That and Kakarot. It's not a bad thing, but I find it very strange. How do you do nothing for Gundam when it sold so many copies? Like, clearly there's interest in it, but it's gotten nothing. Like, not anything. Not the slightest content. Season pass for Gundam was not worth it. Not quite a scam, but that game just needed more of an end game. It was too easy to break. Even if you were more into the, making a Gundam than I was, because I'm not really a Gundam fan, it just felt kind of hollow. And it's very strange how well it did, and it's getting nothing. I really don't get it. Oh, that was not a good boss fight at all. I just want to finish this tonight. It's already like 11 o'clock. I'm not going to be on too late. I just want the Dark Dragon Blade. Because next stream is going to be basically nothing but collectibles. So my New Game Plus hard one, I have to like scour through everything. It's probably not going to be very interesting to watch. I did some of it offline today, but I figured this would be a little bit more interesting to watch. Well, that's not Xenoverse's fault. It's the same thing that's wrong with the Pirate Warriors games, because, the manga and the anime never end, so, they have to make up endings, and people don't like that, but then Pirate Warriors 2 was like a dream match kind of thing, and people didn't like that either, so they're in a rock and a hard place. I would imagine that's part of the reason why there's no, Xenoverse 3. I've heard rumors it's in the works. It's just like, how do you even make a sequel to that game, though? It's the Ragnarok Online 2 situation. Make a sequel to a game that's got, like, so much stuff. People are going to be pissed unless it has everything. Having everything is kind of unrealistic. How do you make somebody want to buy Xenoverse 3 if it's going to have, like, 10% of the content of 2? Unless they do, like, some straight upgrade plan or something like that. That's not an easy game to make a sequel to. It's not like you need a crazy computer to do, like, a Xenoverse 3 or hardware or anything. It's like Ragnarok Online 2 was, like, one of the first MMO sequels. It just had a fraction of the content that the original did, and it just could never really get past that. It's a hard thing to get past for anybody, right? You take something that's a service game and you make a sequel to it, well, it's obviously going to have to start from scratch. but they've done like 10 years of DLC for it, so how do you follow something like that up? Not easy. Yeah, the plot twist in this game was that the guy becomes Achilles, but he's like a nothing character. There's no attachment to him whatsoever. Like, why am I supposed to care? At least this guy had some character. Problem with this fight is it's not very interesting. And, like I said, it would have been better if it was at the middle of the game. Because the thing about this boss, if you haven't gotten this far, is right after this, there's 2 more bosses. Basically, this level has or this part of the game is like non-stop boss fights, but you fight Ryu after this. So they can't make it too hard. You know, they have to make it possible to actually do it with no damage and Death Wish. So he feels kind of uninteresting. He's definitely the lamest humanoid boss in this game. I think it was kind of a dumb decision to put him and Ryu at the same level. I did spam items the first time I did this, so I have to actually learn the fight now. That's why I'm resetting a lot. I'm trying to actually learn the fight and not just item spam. The fights are pretty good. I want to use minimal item use. Unless I get stuck for too long. So I can always practice it. Use one item. Damn. It's almost a good fight. No, the community for this game is awkward. They set themselves up to hate this game, and hey, it's their loss. This game is awesome. It's got its faults. Ryu being sidelined, I definitely agree with. The last part of this game is really uninteresting because it's just DMC4 all over again. It's literally DMC in reverse. The new guy has everything and the legacy character has nothing. And you just play through the same levels and you fight the same bosses. And it really feels like they should have just made him DLC, to be honest with you. It really is just DMC in reverse. Because that's what that game was. The difference is that Ryu's kit, despite being limited, is way better designed than Dante's. Because Dante is just choice paralysis, but then like none of the enemies were intended to be fought with him in the first place. So he feels really awkward. Ryu doesn't have that problem. He did a good job designing his kit. I think the complaints are valid, especially after I played the game myself. I played this game blind and I didn't really look at very many spoilers. It's kind of just like he's only in the game for like maybe 60 minutes to 90 minutes. And there's almost nothing new. The only new thing is one boss. There's one boss. That's the only unique content when you play as him, which is pretty dumb. Like, I feel they should have, had some new enemy types or something to make it more interesting. Kind of get around the fact that you're just doing the same thing backwards. His kit is very well designed. He's going to be even more awesome to play when he has more than one weapon, but he's not DMC4 Dante. DMC4 Dante is like such a deep character, but nothing in the game is designed for him. Like, they didn't design any of the enemies to work with him at all, which is why like the game is really weird because you can kill things like twice as fast with Hero, despite him having like 10% of the options. This game doesn't have that problem. They can both kill things pretty quick. This game is definitely, despite having the same problem, is way better balanced than DMC4 was. Now, some people have said this character is lame, and like, well, he doesn't. He's pretty much just like Ryu before. They're not exactly talkative characters. They're there to get the job done. They're not there to be like a Hideo Kojima character and monologue about trees and flowers and the battlefield and shit like that. I mean, if that's what they want, then I think they're playing the wrong series. The most he's ever talked was in the NES games. In the NES games, he was quite talkative. He hasn't talked much since, and those games are like over 35 years ago. I think he's a fine character. I think the supporting cast is more of the problem, because they just don't really do anything. Sayori is kind of cool, but it doesn't feel like their relationship is really built at all. Like, I didn't really care when she died, but he's like heartbroken over it. I'm like, you barely know this chick, man. She might be attractive, but, you know, he looks like a K-pop star. I mean, I'm pretty sure he could find somebody else. I didn't really feel any impact, especially because, like, the game already, like, established that, like, you know, she has to die to revive the dragon. So, I don't know why they made her death such a big deal. I mean, it was pretty much already said from the beginning. And then the guy, what's that guy's name? Minami or whatever? That guy literally does nothing. He talks on the communicator and then turns into this boss I'm about to fight and then dies. And that's it. He does nothing. I'll give the haters that much. Ryu may not be the most talkative character, but his supporting cast was way better than what this guy's got. He got the short end of the stick with supporting characters. They don't do anything. Sayori exists to die. And then this guy is your other ally that you, like, never talk to. So it's not really impactful when he decides to become this guy. It's like, I don't really care. There was no interaction. I don't play these games for the writing, but I did watch all the cutscenes. I didn't skip a single cutscene. The ending of this game is kind of nothing as well. Like, the set piece was really cool. The fights and stuff are really cool, but then, like, there's not really any kind of aftermath. They didn't bother to give this guy much of a personality. He's just kind of there. But gameplay-wise, he's awesome. I really like playing as him. He just has a very bland supporting cast that doesn't really do anything. And, I mean, if you're gonna have a character that doesn't talk much, the supporting cast kind of has to be their voice, right? But they're kind of just not in this game. Sayori is, like, they basically tell you at the beginning that she has to sacrifice herself to get rid of the dragon, so is it supposed to be shocking when she dies? I mean, it's kind of like waiting for it to happen at that point. This game's got a bit of Metroid Dread syndrome as well. I think people wanted, like, more nostalgia callbacks, but it's really hard to do that when the last game was almost 15 years ago. Which is exactly what happened with Metroid Dread. Metroid Fusion had a lot of cliffhangers and plot points and stuff, and then, like, none of them are mentioned at all. They probably decided it wasn't smart to do that, because it's like 20 years between the games, right? How much can you really allude to older stuff? Metroid Dread's narrative. They drop like so many plot points in Fusion, and then none of them get mentioned. Not even mentioned. Like, how can you not mention it at all? Like, just no, those things didn't happen. But yeah, I do think that why the story in this is minimal and doesn't really move things forward that much is totally because of the amount of time between games. Really limits how much you can call back stuff, especially in Metroid Dread's case. I do think that they should have done a little bit more nostalgia stuff, just because you can actually play this whole series, right? With Metroid, you can't. You gotta go download ROM. Almost good. Made a dumb mistake. Let's do no items. Let's do no items on this boss, because this is the best boss in the game. This is the first boss. No items. Well, that's a great start. Nice. Only one hit. One hit, no items. Yeah, you don't want to cheat that fight with items. It's the best fight in the game. Yeah, give me that Master Ninja. I deserve it. GG's. Alright, 2 more boss fights. Actually, just 1. This is the one I don't know because I had to item spam this fight because I had to go to my neighbor's house and I didn't have time to watch the cutscenes or anything. I just item spammed this boss fight, so this is probably going to take the longest. Just a warning. I did not have time to respect this fight at all. I had to go. I had a very strict time limit, but I don't now, so... Let's see how long this takes. It probably won't, reset too much. Yeah, see, I wish there were more fights like Ryu, but they really put like 75% of the human boss fights at the end. This game is so backloaded with human boss fights. The middle is all monsters with like no break. It actually is quite like Kingdom Hearts 3, because that was the problem with that game, is there were like no human bosses really. There was Aqua, and then Xehanort at the end, but that's mostly a gimmick boss fight, so that barely counts. But most of, like, more than half of that fight is gimmicks, so not what you want. You can do that too. Cool. No, you gotta do what I'm doing to get it. You have to beat all the boss trials. Which you can just do on hero mode, but I actually like the challenge for the most part. And I didn't get to do this fight the legit way. I was spamming items because I had to go. Limiting item use because I didn't get to do the real boss fight. I thought I could be cool and punish, but no. It's alright to laugh at that. That was totally my fault. I was doing good until then, but like I said, I spammed items because I was on a time limit. This is my first, like, honest boss fight with this guy. That probably does work, but I was probably at the wrong distance. I don't have the knowledge yet. Well, I won't do that next time. Thinking I should use the Kage Hiruko to get him out of that. That's probably what you need to do. You save meter and you can stop him from doing that. That Dragon Breath. Let's probably could punish that with Kage Hiruko, the burst attack. Second phase. Basically didn't see any of these attacks at all. I just kept spamming items as I had to go. the boss I have the least experience with is this one. Ryu I fought a bunch. That's why that took like the least amount of time. This is gonna take a while. Maybe I'll use like one item. I could do this with no items. I could do it. I could do this with no items. It's not that bad. I'm just not punishing his second phase attacks very well. I don't need any items. Blood counter on that is very hard. I don't think the sword can do it easily. You have to be like frame perfect or something. Let me try when he does that again. Let me try the toolbox instead. I think if you do that, you can stop him completely. Remember when I said I was going to do that? My brain just didn't register that he was doing that. I think there's enough time for the projectile to hit him. I'll have to see. Mental stack. Probably do longer combos, but it's kind of RNG. Because he can block. pretty sloppy. Well, it's still a Master Ninja, because I guess I use no items. Well, not bad. There you go. There it is. Cool. Well, these are a lot less fun. I don't like these. This one I've been stuck on for hours. It is just no fun at all. It's zero fun. It's like you have the gimmick of losing health, and then like you die when it runs out instead of being stuck at 1 HP, like how poison usually works in games. And then they take away all your tools too. It's like not fun. Ones where you could just fight are fun, but all the gimmicks are like not fun. It's not entertaining just like taking options away. I've been stuck on this one for ages. I don't want to do it right now because I was getting frustrated. I don't want to be frustrated right now. I'm not about that at the moment. Yeah, I don't find those fun at all. They're just artificial difficulty. That one is especially obnoxious because of the guys that fly on the kites. And like with Yakumo, they take away their options to like kill them quick. They want you to guillotine throw. The problem with that is that you can't target the kite guys. You have to be like aligned perfectly, and like with your health draining, and you know the fact that the enemies in this game actually fight back and don't just let you kill them. It's stupid. Because like the game, it's interesting because like when you play the game, it very quickly establishes that like now you have this really powerful Bloodbind move that just decimates flying enemies. But then they take it away from you, and they spawn like a dozen of them. I'm like, are you just trying to piss me off at this point? Like, just let me use all my options and make it challenging in some other way, besides putting enemies that are a bad matchup. Ryu, like, can barely do anything against them, really. You can try to Flying Swallow. The problem with that is it's also RNG, because sometimes he goes the opposite direction. But all he can do is just throw shurikens, and it takes like 5 or 6 volleys of shurikens for them to fall down. And the whole time your health is draining. I don't find that one fun at all. I've gotten very close to doing it. I think if I max out a bit more, I can probably do it. But, I don't know. I just don't find challenges like that fun. It's just annoying. Just don't like artificial difficulty. Dying in one hit is better than poison. Poison is just not fun at all. Dying in one hit is whatever, you know, you play well. The game does give you tools to deal with it. The poison in this game just kind of trolls you because it straight up kills you, which goes against how it works in like almost every game. There's more games where poison does not kill you than ones where it does. Poison killing you is actually pretty rare. Usually it's like 1 HP. You know, you can still fight, but if you get touched once, you're dead. Which would have made those challenges a lot better, in my opinion. Oh shit! No, this game, man. Shit. Oh, what a masterpiece. Now I'm playing bad. It's using the wrong weapon. That was cool, though. Yeah, pretty much. All the complaining about this game was objectively false. Well, most of it. I'm gonna be honest. Ryu really is sidelined in this game. He doesn't even get a single unique boss fight. He gets one unique boss fight, and he only plays it for like an hour. But anything about the combat is false. This game is awesome. Best games of the year. At least if you like this kind of game anyway. Yeah, spamming invincibility frames is peak combat because it's the only thing that's viable. You're not gonna do those 10-hit combos unless you're fighting one ninja by himself. It's just not gonna happen, right? You can't. It doesn't let you. It's not that those games don't take skill. I just think it's strange that they expanded the combat so much. And, like, if you're good enough, you can use, like, most of your tools. I'd say the biggest complaint is that Ryu just is way less complex as a result, and he's still fun to play. He's not DMC4 Dante levels of flawed, where you have the choice paralysis of, like, 6 weapons and 4 styles, but then, like, nothing is designed to be fought by him. You could tell that they really knew that Ryu is very limited in what he can do, but he's still fun to play, and he doesn't feel handicapped when he fights enemies, which makes it, even though this game really is just reverse DMC4, you know, the new guy has everything and the legacy character has nothing. Like, they did a way better job balancing him than DMC4. There's so many enemies in DMC4 that are just like a bad matchup for Dante, despite him having like 10 times the options of Nero. You know, they didn't have time to like give them weaknesses and stuff like they did for Nero. So he feels really weird. I mean, he's like the highest skill ceiling CAG character. I mean, I'd say Yakumo probably might even surpass DMC4 Dante. Just because the enemies are way more aggressive, so, you know, doing the combos and stuff it's execution, but then, like, also skill. We'll see how things go. I mean, this game's only been out for a week. DMC4 is, like, 17 now. But, yeah, I'd say that criticism as well, it's true, but they did a better job than the other game that pulled this stunt where there's two characters, but then, like, 80% of the content is one, and the other one barely gets anything. I think that this game does do it better. Also, the replay value in this game is significantly better than DMC4. DMC4's campaign sucks. Even more so when, you know, it's really... you play the same half of the game twice. Well, it's more like probably maybe 40%, because, you know, you have the boss rush with Nero and everything. But they have, like, a lot more ways to just get into a playable state. The campaign is pretty inoffensive. My main complaint with the campaign is the auto-scrollers are, like, not fun. The walking and talking, the forced walking sucks, but it's pretty minimal, and it's probably only, like, a couple minutes of, like, a 12-hour playthrough. This game's pretty long, but the auto-scroller platforming stuff is just, like, it feels like it's mostly automated. It's just a really long QTE, and I don't really find it interesting. I feel like you could take it out and it wouldn't really do anything. I think they should have just kept the caddis wire, because, like, combat-wise, it's really cool. When they give you the hook points on the wall, it definitely gives you a lot of really cool vantage points, and you have so many aerial moves and stuff. It's cool to have, like, a nice application for that, but the platforming stuff is just a really long QTE. There's way too many of them, and they go on too long, and especially on the surfboard, the controls aren't great. It doesn't feel very good. Yeah, that too. If it was like the Devil Bringer, that would be pretty awesome. But I don't know. It probably would be pretty limited. Probably just the DDO guys and the small fiends. So I guess maybe that's why they didn't do that. But it would be nice to at least have it pull you over to them. Anyway, I think I'll do one more. Also, the respawn time in this game is way too long, and I have zero interest in doing anything that requires, you know, if you get killed in 1 or 2 hits, I have zero interest in doing that. Obviously, you've seen me play today. I'm more than capable. I did most of the boss fights on normal, not taking much damage, and using no items. I'm capable of doing it, but I strongly dislike challenges where if I mess up, I spend more time loading the game than playing. And I don't find that fun at all. Especially since I've been gaming since the 8-bit era, and in those games were balls hard and way worse designed than this in a lot of cases. At least the games I had as a kid, but you could get back into the game quick. The load times of this game are way too long. I've heard people say they've been doing Fresh File Master Ninja and doing like hundreds of tries on the first level. I'm like, I commend their patience and dedication to do that, but when I read that, I was like, dude, how much of that was waiting for it to load? That'd be hours at that point, right? That's what increases frustration. When a game is balls hard, you need to be able to get back into it quick. Super Meat Boy is the perfect example. That is a difficult game. I mean, the challenges in that game, especially in the Dark World, are extremely difficult. The thing that makes it tolerable is that you respawn instantly. Like, before you even really register that you died, you're back playing again. That's one of the things that was ingenious about that game. This game commits the sin of being too difficult, on like with the hardest challenges and stuff, but then you spend like 20-25 seconds getting back into the game. And if you're only dying in 2 hits, you have to figure out that like probably half of the time you're playing, you're not actually doing anything. And I'm clearly capable of doing it. I've got a lot of action game experience, and I proved today I can read the bosses pretty quick. Some of the fights tonight were pretty sloppy, but I just don't feel like spending 2 hours on each boss. But I'm capable of doing it. But if I'm going to get 2-shot and then wait 30 seconds to try again and get stuck in that loop, I would rather just play something else at that point. And it's very strange that this is like current gen exclusive. There's no Switch 2 or like PS4 Xbox version of this game, and it still takes so long to load. It'd be in the same room with the same boss and nothing else, and it takes like 30 seconds to get back. It's just way too long. So that's probably going to be my upper limit on this game, is like not doing Master Ninja Death Wish is a hard pass. Like, I'm just not going to do that. Period. It's like not even the challenge. It's like just the time it takes is just not fun. I feel like we've regressed a lot with like making games difficult, than like not letting you get back quick. You know, you die in like Mario, you're back in like 4 seconds, right? How have we regressed so much? This was a solved problem like 40 years ago. You still have these like balls hard difficult games. They want you to like either wait 30 seconds to get back to gameplay or do a corpse run. I'm like, I don't want to do a corpse run. The challenge is more interesting to me when I can get back quick. Oh, these are all the unfun enemies. Probably won't do this one again. This one is not fun. All the trash enemies. And these fuckers need to be removed. Lamest enemy. Those and the poison guys are like zero fun to fight. Great camera. I'll go ahead and use an item. I don't like this one. All the worst enemies. And these fuckers are zero fun to fight. I just don't want to do this one. This game definitely has some shit enemies. The kite guys suck because the way that they want you to fight them really only works when there's a grapple point. When they want you to guillotine throw, you basically have to be aligned like perfectly. Otherwise, Yakumo or Ryu will just throw them at the other enemies. The targeting system is really flawed. Like that's why that Trial 7 is such garbage. Because those guys chip away at your health and your time so much. And they take away the way that you can actually kill them quick. You know, Yakumo with the ninja box can just kill them instantly, but they take that away from you. And then they have the nerve to spawn like 16 of those guys. I'm like, well, you know, it's not fun. I'm not enjoying it at all. Like, just make it make sense. If you want me to throw enemies into those guys to remove them instantly, then the character should do it every time, not only sometimes. It's like the only part of this game that feels RNG, really. I mean, there's obviously RNG in, like, when they attack and stuff, but the kite guys just feel like the worst enemy design. Also, the poison kettle guys are, like, zero fun. They don't have any kind of, like, counter attack at all. They just stand there and put stuff on the ground, and, like, in melee games, that's always the worst design, in my opinion. Other than that, the enemies are pretty good, actually. Everything else is fine for the most part. It's just the kite guys, depending on the situation, you know, if you have your full tools. In campaign, they're fine. In the trials, they're an exercise in frustration. The lanterns are just not fun because most of the mechanics don't work on them, and those are always the shittiest enemies. Those are always the worst enemies in any action game. The ones that, like, invalidate most of the mechanics. You have to fight them in a very one-dimensional way, but yeah, the enemy roster is pretty good. I'd say the game has got a little bit too long in the tooth at the end, though, because there were, like, no new enemy types at all. As soon as you get to Ryu, there's, like, no new enemy types. Which just makes that part of the game, like, even less interesting, because there's only one unique boss fight, and it's basically a throwaway boss fight. Everything else is recycled. It really sucks. Oh, wait a minute, I got a surprise here. Hold on. I have a surprise. Before I go, I've got a surprise. Give me a sec here. I can't show myself doing this, obviously. Some bot's gonna take the code. Give me a sec. One moment. Alright. Alright, hold on. There we go. Friend of mine sent me some gift cards, so Tales of No Combos is on the menu. I don't know how much I'll do with it. It'll depend on when Meebo mods out the boss counter. I mean, it's possible that it doesn't have the boss bursts anymore, but I don't know. Judging with what happened with Graces, where they didn't tweak the accuracy system at all, the formula is identical. I wouldn't count on it. And I'm still playing Ninja Gaiden anyway, so I might not get on this frame 1, because I've still got quite a bit to do on Ninja Gaiden, right? I've got all the stuff to unlock. The second playthrough, I gotta find everything, and then the trials, and then I can really start doing fun stuff with it. So I'm not nowhere near done. I'm 20 hours in. Probably got another 20 or so before I get everything, maybe more, depending on how much patience I have for some of those trials. Some of those trials are the polar opposite of fun, and they're not the kind of challenge that I like. But I'm gonna try to do most of them legit. But I think the best course of action is to max out, because they have that obsession with making your health drain, and it really feels like You're making it harder on yourself if you don't have a max health bar. So that's going to be the goal for the next stream. Is going to be probably finding all the secrets. I'm only on chapter 3 on hard, New Game Plus. So skipping all the cutscenes. I might just spam items. I haven't decided yet because I did all the boss fights legit just now. That's going to be the best course of action. And then tomorrow is Zelia. When does Zelia come out? Let me see. 1 day and 14 hours. So it's at like 5 p.m. my time. Yeah. 5 p.m. tomorrow. Wait a minute. Wait. 1 day and 14 hours. So that's 12:35. Yeah, 5. It's 5 p.m. my time. Well, I'll check out the port. I don't know how much I really want to play it without mods. We'll see, I guess. I'll talk to Meebo. Maybe I can get a commission, but I have like $0.00 in my account right now, so we'll have to wait. I'm gonna go ahead and go. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a rest because I figured doing the bosses was interesting stream content, but constantly tapping out to look up unlockables is not going to be fun to watch. So I'll probably do some offline. Maybe can knock out like the second half of it on the next stream. The trials really feel like they want you to have a mostly maxed out character because some of the gimmicks are very difficult. Like, I don't. How are you supposed to do those ones where they drain your health on Death Wish? That really does feel like a load screen simulator. How are you supposed to do that on Death Wish? Like, even just killing one enemy would take out, like, probably half your health. I don't know. Death Wish is a cool idea, but some of the gimmicks in those trials, and then also the long loads to respawn, make that sound no fun at all. You know, I'll bang my head against a boss for hours if I feel like it's fun, and I can kill them as quick as they can kill me, which Ninja Gaiden 4 does very well, but getting hit by one guy and then doing 20 seconds of loading does not sound fun to me because, like, you got to do the math, right? Like, how much of the game are you even playing at that point? What's that guy on Reddit? He said he did like 300 plus attempts on the first level on Master Ninja, and I didn't want to be rude because I think it's really cool that people have the dedication to do that, but I had to show restraint. I really wanted to say, like, dude, if that was like probably 10 to 15 hours of playing, how much of it was loading? Probably like half of it at that point, right? If it's like 20 seconds to get back to a playable state every time you die, and you do like hundreds of attempts, that's hours of loading. I'm like, man, I just don't want to do that. That's where I draw the line. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. If I get to bed now, hopefully I can do another one in the morning. And then we'll do Zelia will be on the 30th, so tomorrow. See you later.